Hi, this is Mr. Nunley. This is going to be the fifth and final part of my Romeo and Juliet Act 1 recaps. I'm about to finish up Act 1, Scene 4 and move on to the final scene, Act 1, Scene 5. So where I left off, Mercutio has just gone off with this long monologue about this Queen Mab dream that he had to prove to Romeo that dreams are not real, they're lies. Why does he do this? He does this to show Romeo that whatever dream you had, Romeo, it doesn't matter. It's not real. Let's go to this party. So I'm going to move forward with the video. And skip the rest of this Queen Mab stuff because Romeo's fed up at this point. And he finally says, peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Basically saying, shut up, enough, enough, enough. And Mercutio says, true, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind who woos, even now, the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south. So Mercutio's like, look, Romeo, again, for the second, third time, dreams are not real. If you had a dream that we shouldn't go to this party, dreams are not real. Forget about it. Alright. Venvilio's like, let's go, shut up. The supper's probably already over at this party. We're going to show up too late and not even going to be able to participate. Let's go. So here's Romeo's dream. He shares it finally. I fear too early, for my mind must give some consequence, yet hanging in the stars, shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. So what does this mean? Romeo had a nightmare, and Romeo's nightmare was this. By going to this party tonight, Romeo is going to suffer a consequence. And this consequence is going to be part of his fate or destiny. That's what he means, yet hanging in the stars. And what is the consequence going to be by showing up to this Capulet party when he's not really invited because he's an enemy in the Montague? The consequence will be this. Some vile forfeit of untimely death. Meaning, a death to be untimely means someone dies too young. Romeo's very young. He's only 18. So his dream is that his life will end due to going to this party. Now, he may not die at the party, but going to this party is going to, in a sense, start the death clock in terms of he's going to die by going to this party. By going to this party, his life will be over soon. All right. That's the end of Act 1, Scene 4. Final scene, Act 1, Scene 5. Here we go. So we're back in the Capulet's house. We're now at the feast, at the party. We got some servants talking, not really important. I'm going to skip over that stuff. More servants talking. Lord Capulet, Juliet's dad, says, welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns will have a bout with you. And ha, my mistress, which of you all will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. Am I come near you now? So what is Lord Capulet saying with this corn nonsense? So basically, this party is like a lot of parties. People are scared to be the first person on the dance floor. Everyone's waiting for someone else to be the first couple or the first person to start dancing, and then everyone's going to join in. So Capulet wants this party to go off in a sense, and he sees all these women standing around. So he says, you know what? The reason why these women are standing around is because their feet are plagued with corns. Corns are like these big growths or lumps that you get on your feet. So think of women with really ugly growths on their feet. So none of these ladies want to be known as the girl with the ugly corns on her feet, the woman with the ugly lumpy feet. So Capulet convinces them all to dance by saying, if you're not dancing, it's because you have ugly feet. So all the women get up and they start to dance, and now the party's really going. Alright, I'm going to skip over this stuff. This, where it says to Capulet, this is Lord Capulet's cousin. So basically they're talking about, oh, we haven't had a party like this for a long time. And Capulet's cousin's like, oh, it's been 30 years. And Lord Capulet's like, what, man? 'Tis not so much. 'Tis not so much. It hasn't been 30 years. So this is basically two old men reminiscing about the last time they had a good party. Again, not extremely important. All right, now we get to the good stuff. So Romeo is now at the party. And again, remember, Rosaline is the woman that Romeo is in love with, or we should say is infatuated with. So Romeo shows up at this party to see Rosaline, even though she's not going to love him. And one of the first things that he sees is another woman. And this is what he says. What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? So Romeo's eyes are basically stuck on this woman that he's never seen before. And he asks a servant, who is that girl? And the servant doesn't know who it is. So this is Romeo's response. And this is one of the most famous lines in the play. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady over her fellows shows. So what is Romeo saying? Romeo just used another simile. We had a simile earlier that I discussed. That Juliet is essentially a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. I'm going to go back a little bit to talk about the first part. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. So he's basically, Romeo, saying that Juliet has brightened this party with her beauty. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. So this simile is really showing contrast. So think of Juliet like a diamond, something that sparkles in an Ethiop's ear. An Ethiop is someone from Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country in northern Africa. Ethiopians are typically really dark of skin. So if you were to put a diamond against a white background, and then you were to put a diamond against a black background, the diamond would stand out much more on the black background. Think of it like stars at nighttime. At nighttime, the stars twinkle and they're glittery, kind of like a diamond, like a whitish color, because the sky is black at nighttime. If you didn't know this, the stars do not disappear during the daytime. They're still there. They don't go anywhere, but you can't see them due to the contrast. The sky is light during the daytime, so the stars don't stand out. However, when the sun goes down and sets and the sky becomes black, the diamonds, the stars, now stand out much more. So Romeo's making the simile, saying everyone at this party is black and Juliet is sparkling and standing out like a diamond. And he's saying, again, he's saying this about Juliet. He was so depressed because Rosaline didn't love him. He's going to this party, desperately trying to find Rosaline, maybe to convince her to love him. And the first thing that happens when he arrives at this party, he sees some other girl and he's instantly struck and falls in love with her instantly because she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. Remember earlier, Romeo said Rosaline was the most beautiful woman that walked the earth. Now he's saying that about Juliet. This shows Romeo's immaturity. He's not really in love with any of these girls, be it Rosaline or Juliet. He's infatuated. He thinks love is infatuation. He thinks love is a woman's beauty, not getting to know the person first. He continues to go on, saying that Juliet is a snowy or a white dove trooping with blackbirds or crows. She stands out because she's so beautiful. Here's some really controversial stuff. Did my heart love till now? So Romeo said, I've never been in love until now. Although he's been sad and crying and depressed for the first 4 scenes of the play because Rosaline doesn't love him. And now all of a sudden, did my heart love until now? Romeo, you're immature. Yes, you thought you loved before this moment, but you're immature, so you don't remember those things. All right, I'm going to move forward. Here's the bad part. Romeo's talking, and Tybalt, the hot-headed Tybalt, who continues the fight between the servants at the beginning of the play, says, "This by his voice should be a Montague. Fetch my rapier, boy." A rapier is a sword. "What, dares the slave come hither covered with an antic face to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin." So Tybalt is absolutely furious that Romeo, a Montague, has crashed his family's party, and he wants to kill him. This is a huge problem because, as you know, if either one of these men fight, the penalty for fighting again is death. That is what Prince Aeschylus told us. Alright, luckily, Lord Capulet is standing right there, and he says, "Why, how now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you so?" And Tybalt tells his uncle, "Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, our enemy. A villain is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity this night." And Capulet, his uncle, says, "Young Romeo, is it?" "'Tis he, that villain Romeo," says Tybalt. "Yes, that is a Montague. That's Romeo Montague. He's our enemy, uncle. Let's get him." Lord Capulet says, "Content thee, gentle coz. Let him alone. He bears like the portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all the town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore be patient, take no note of him. It is my will, the which if thou respect, show a fair presence and put off these frowns and all beseeching semblance for a feast." So Lord Capulet has said, "You know what, Tybalt, I know you're angry because he's our enemy and he's here, but guess what? The feud is over. Didn't you hear the prince? If we fight again, we're dead. So you know what? I've heard good things about this kid Romeo. Just leave him alone. You know what? This is my house, Tybalt. Leave him alone." And Tybalt says, "It fits when such a villain is a guest. I will not endure him." So Tybalt's like, "No, uncle, I'm going to go get him. I'm going to go fight him." Lord Capulet's like, "He shall be endured. What, goodman boy? I say he shall. Go to. I am the master here. Or you, go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests." So Capulet's like, "Look, boy, this is my house. You will endure him. You will allow him to stay. You will not fight him. You will be peaceful. This is my house. Listen to me, boy." And Tybalt is not happy with his uncle's response. He says, "My uncle, 'tis a shame." So Capulet continues to go off and talk crap to Tybalt, saying, "You're a little boy, like, be quiet." This is what Tybalt says before he leaves his uncle. "Patience purports with willful choler, meeting makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitter gall." Another example of the couplet, shall and gall. I know they don't technically rhyme, but they both end with all. Shall, gall. Alright. So basically, what is Tybalt saying here? Tybalt's foreshadowing future trouble. He's saying, you know what? For right now, uncle, I'm going to be sweet. But soon, that sweetness, that pretend sweetness is going to convert. It's going to change to bitterness. So this is what he means. He said, you know what? I'm going to leave this guy Romeo alone. I'm going to act like everything's okay. But once I catch you outside, Romeo, I'm going to go get you. I'm going to go kill you for crashing this party. And Tybalt leaves. Alright. Now we get Romeo and Juliet meeting. So again, Romeo has basically seen Juliet. She's caught his attention, caught his eye. They had not talked to each other yet. And Romeo is already instantly fallen in love with Juliet. He thinks she's the most beautiful woman at the party. Remember, Rosaline, the girl he really loved before. Rosaline, the girl that he is at this party for because he's so infatuated with her beauty because she's the most beautiful woman that ever walked the face of the earth. All that's been forgotten because Juliet is now far more beautiful than Rosaline. Rosaline no longer exists to Romeo because Juliet is the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. Again, you can see the immaturity in the situation. Romeo being upset and depressed over Rosaline, and that's instantly gone once he gets his eyes on Juliet. Alright, I'm going to have to end this video here. Do one more video. Hopefully, definitely won't be the full 15 minutes.